I want to thank everybody for being here this morning to show love and respect to Margot. If you can, just please take a moment to silence or turn off your cell phones at this time. Because we're in the month of Nisan, and with Pesach so close, we're at a time in which we try not to emphasize our mourning too much, because Nisan itself is a time of joy, a time of rejoicing. At the same time, it's important that we give Margot the kavod, the love and respect that she truly deserves, to recount her life, to learn from her example, and to really honor her memory. I'll begin with a chapter of Psalms, Psalm 23. Mizmor LeDavid, Adonai roi lo echsar. A psalm by David, the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. Binot esheyer b'tzeini, al mei menuchot yinaleini. In lush meadows he lays me down, beside tranquil waters he leads me. Nafshi yeshoveh v'yancheni v'maglei tzedek l'man shemo. He restores my soul. He leads me on paths of justice for his name's sake. Gam ki elech begeit salmaved lo yira ra ki yatzi imadi shivtecha mishantecha hema yinachamuni. Though I walk in the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you, God, are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. Tzarach lefanai shochan neged sorai deshantav Hashem en roshi kosi rivaya. You prepare a table before me in full view of my adversaries. You have anointed my head with oil, and my cup overflows. May only goodness and kindness pursue me all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the house of the Lord for the length of my days. Margot Rosenbaum was the oldest daughter of Million and Betty. She was born in Germany, Frankfurt am Main, to be specific. When she was young, her family had a homestead outside the city, a little bit of land, some animals, all in a small Jewish community. She lived with her grandparents. Though life had been good for German Jews for quite some time, Margot lived during the rise of Hitler and the Nazis. Her childhood memories were dominated by the vicious anti-Semitism of that era, and it was something that Margot never forgot and always carried with her. German Jews who saw Hitler's rise to power firsthand had a unique perspective on the horrors of the Holocaust and anti-Semitism, unlike Jews in many other places throughout Europe. Margot and her family were blessed to be able to escape from Germany in 1939. They were on the last successful voyage of the St. Louis. After arriving in the United States, Margot and her family lived initially in the Bronx in New York, and then in Washington Heights, where there was a large and vibrant German Jewish community. She met Maury, the love of her life, almost incidentally. It just so happened that Maury lived in the same building, and he would walk back and forth to shul with Margot's father. Through her father, the two of them met, and Maury was captivated by Margot. Her intelligence and her beauty stood out immediately to him. Margot was vivacious, lively, and well-educated. If you see pictures of Margot when she was young, what you will see is a young Elizabeth Taylor. Maury himself, at that time, just after the war, was a Holocaust survivor, and nearly his entire family had been killed during the war. And he was struggling. He was doing all that he could to put his life back together, basically as an immigrant in a strange country, pretty much all by himself. But in Margot, he found a life partner who would help him do exactly this. The relationship was first consummated when Margot taught Maury how to speak English. Remember, Maury came in, he knew several languages, but not English. And as Maury would put it, she was forever after his teacher and mentor. The two were rarely apart. And even in recent years, when Margot's health declined, Maury would do all that he could to be with her and to care for her. Now, Maury eventually left New York at that time to find work with cousins here in Cleveland. But he came back to New York to ask Margot to marry him. The two of them moved here to raise a family. Over the years, Maury became involved in a variety of businesses, and Margot was always there by his side, helping him with all of it. It's fair to say that Margot was a true Yeka. She was astute in business and was always very precise and exacting in everything that she did. This, of course, was of great benefit to Maury and all the different ventures he was engaged in. Family meant the world to her. Words cannot even begin to express the love that she had for her husband and for her children, Bonnie and Jeffrey of blessed memory. She did everything that she could to provide for them. She wanted to make sure that they had every opportunity, whether it was piano, ballet, Hebrew school, whatever they needed, she wanted to provide for them and would go out of her way to do so. She took great pride in their achievements, and that same love that she had for her children, of course, she shared for her granddaughter as well. And she was deeply proud of all of Michelle's achievements. Living a rich and active Jewish life was always critically important to Margot, and it was something that she would always convey to me when I would see her. Growing up in the passionate and committed German Jewish community, her Yiddishkeit was implanted very deep in her neshama. She and Maury were members of Taylor Road Synagogue when they first came to Cleveland, and later on they became members of Young Israel for several decades, where they made lifelong friends. Jewish learning always played a central role in their lives. It was very important to Margot that her children have a serious Jewish education, and as adults, she and Maury would regularly attend shiurim by Rabbi Tzvi Yehuda on Shabbat afternoons. It should also be mentioned that Margot loved her time in Florida. She and Maury would go down there for months at a time during the winter and would so enjoy being with her friends there, many of whom were also visiting there from Cleveland. When you look at the totality of Margot's life, what you see is what we describe in Yadut, in Yiddishkeit, as an Eshes Chayil, a woman of valor, as described in Proverbs that we read on Friday nights. A woman of valor is one who's committed to Torah and Judaism. She has a deep and abiding connection to God, an enduring faith. These are things that Margot had in abundance. Additionally, a woman of valor is one who is absolutely dedicated to her family. She looks out for their needs, anticipating them before even her loved ones do. There is no question in my mind that Margot was a true Eshes Chayil, a true woman of valor. However, with Pesach soon upon us, I cannot help but think of another description for Margot. The rabbis teach us, Bizchut hanashim tzidkaniyot nigalu Yisrael miMitzrayim, that it was through the merit of the righteous women that the Jews were redeemed from slavery in Egypt. To me, Margot was one of those righteous women. And you have to understand why. It's a very interesting point that the Talmud makes when it goes on to describe the actions of these righteous women in Egypt. When Pharaoh initially enslaves the Jewish people, particularly the Jewish men, and declares harsh labor upon them, it was for the express purpose, the Torah tells us, of preventing them from having children. Pharaoh understood that if you degrade and oppress people enough with backbreaking labor, they will give up the desire to bring new life into this world. They'll have no energy and they'll have no hope. The righteous Jewish women, however, the rabbis teach us, had other plans. They took the Jewish people's destiny into their own hands by bringing food to their husbands when they were slaving away and seduced them so that they would become pregnant. The faith of these righteous women gave them the strength to do what was necessary for the Jewish people to survive. This was the way in which Margot lived her life as well. When she met Maury had nothing. He felt absolutely alone. It's something he's conveyed to me many times. After all the suffering he had experienced, it would have been all too easy for him to give up on life and just say, you know what? I'm going to give up Yiddishkeit. I'm just going to not try to do this anymore. But Margot would not let that happen. Her love lifted Maury up. Her commitment to family enabled them to bring new life into the world, perhaps the holiest act that one could engage in the wake of the Holocaust. In addition to being an Eshes Chayil, Margot was also a righteous woman. And we would all do well to remember that and learn from her example this Pesach. As we say goodbye to Margot today, I know that her family wants to thank her for her love and care, for her tremendous devotion to them. Her daughter, Bonnie, deserves special recognition for the care that she was able to give her mother these last several months under very difficult circumstances. It was an opportunity, I know, for Bonnie to return the love that Margot had shared with her. Even though Maury can't be here today because he's in the hospital, I know that he wants to express his thanks and appreciation to Margot for being his bashert, his soulmate, his life partner for 67 years. She made his life so rich and so meaningful, and I know he is forever grateful for that. Yehi nishmata tzura b'tzura chayim. May Margot's soul forever be bound up in the bonds of eternal life. Yehi zichra baruch. And may her memory forever be a blessing. We will not recite Kemalei Rachamim, the memorial prayer today, because again, we are so close to the holiday of Pesach. I will recite a chapter of Psalms, Psalm 16. Michtam LeDavid, Shamreini El Ki Chasita Vach, Amart LaDonai, Adonai Ata Tovati Balalecha, Liktoshim Asher Ba'aretz Hema, V'adirei Kol Cheftevam, Yirbu Atzvatam Acher Meharu, Balasich Niskeim Midam, Uvalasad Shemotam Al Tzvatai, Adonai Minat Chelki V'chosi, Ata Tomich Gorali, Chavalim, Naflu Li B'neimim, Af Nachalat Shafra Lai, Avarech et Adonai Asher Yatzani Av Lelot Yisruni Chliotai Shiviti Adonai Lenegdi Tamid Ki Mimini Balamod Lachein Samach Libi V'Yagel Kivodi Av B'Sari Yishkon Levetach Ki Lo Tazov Nafshi Lisho Lo Titein Chasidcha Lirot Shachat Todiein Yorech Hayim Savas Mechodet Banecha Ni'imot B'Mincha Netzach. I have set God before me always, because he is at my right, and I shall not falter. For the following reason does my heart rejoice, and my soul is elated. My flesh too rests in confidence. Because you will not abandon my soul to the grave. You will not allow your devout one to witness destruction. You will make known to me the path of life, the fullness of joys in your presence, the delights that are at your right hand for all eternity. With the conclusion of the funeral service, the burial will continue at Mount Olive Cemetery. The family will be sitting shiva and receiving people today from 1 to 5 p.m. at Menorah Park in the Miller Boardroom. The family will also receive friends at Menorah Park again on Thursday from 11 a.m. to 3:30 p.m., and I believe that's going to be in basically the common area closest to Maury's room. It's the... Oh, it'll be in the shul. Sorry, it'll be in the back of the shul. So the shul's in the front of Menorah Park. It'll be in the back of the shul there. Contributions can be made in Margot's memory to Schneider Children's Medical Center of Israel or to Hadassah Medical Center of Israel. And as you know, Maury's having some fairly significant health issues right now. I think he would very much appreciate it if anybody wants to give him a call, even just a short call to share your love and concern and your comfort. I'll just mention the number briefly, but you can certainly get it from me again. It's 216-973-1653. In just a moment, I'll be happy to repeat the number if anybody needs it. We'll continue with the pallbearers in just a moment. First, the family's going to do Kriya.